Hello, and welcome back to the TV Cast, the show we talk about streaming series and TV series, and we don't care about spoiling them. My name is Tobias, and with me, as always, is my sister and trusted co-host, Rebecca.
Hello!
Hello! And if you like the show, you probably already know about the actual show. This is a spin-off of The Spoiler Cast. You can check it out on the same channel every week. Well, this is only sometimes.
Whenever,
yeah. We haven't made an episode in like a few months, but now there's a new show to talk about. So let's talk about a new show. And what is that new show? It's Dune Prophecy. Yeah. It's the prequel series to the Denis Villeneuve movies.
Yes.
From what I understand, loosely based on Sisterhood of Dune and another trilogy called Dune something else. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I looked it up briefly. But it's only like vaguely based on that. I think mostly they have like made their own show, so to speak.
Yeah.
With only inspiration. It's not actually based on any one book. They're taking inspirations from several books and stories and stuff. Takes place about 10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides, Paul Muad'Dib, the Kwisatz Haderach, and all that. And also takes place like 160 years after the intelligent machine war, as they called it.
Yeah.
Which was my first, and I've seen some other people notice that too. The first moment where you're like, what? That people reacted to. It's a nitpick, but it's silly because there is like a very well-known name for that war. It was called the Butlerian Jihad. In every like like index you read or lore stuff in the back of books, or even in the stories written around or written based on that period in this universe, it has a name. It's a jihad because it was a holy war that ended the reign of the intelligent machines. So that's a jihad. So why didn't they call it the Butlerian Jihad in the show? I don't know. Some people say it's woke, that they don't want to like
use the word jihad.
Jihad, because that would it makes it sound like terrorists. I don't know if that's it. I don't want to think it's that. I just think it's them kind of watering down Dune, which feels dumb. Because that's the opposite of what they did in the movies. They were very, I think they were very faithful to the
book, the story.
Book. Yeah, and they didn't like change names or anything. But here, no, it's a machine war. Even though we all know it's called the Butlerian Jihad. Whatever. Let's move on because people don't know. I'm
gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe someone will call it that later on in the series, but.
Maybe. Or you know what I think it is? Because it's literally like in the first sentence of the show. And if you mention the Butlerian Jihad and don't explain what that is, then people are going to go, what? Yeah. What? Even though they show them attacking big machines. People say, what is that? But if you say the machine war, everyone's like, oh, they get it. Oh,
sentient machines. Okay.
Yeah. I bet that's why. Yeah. Sad, but probably true.
Yeah. I mean, you could say both.
Yeah. It was the end of the Butlerian Jihad, the war against the sentient machines. That's
there you go. There's a few more words. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Other than that, what did you think of it? The first episode. The first, what was it, 45 minutes?
First hour and 6 minutes.
Right.
First hour, I suppose. This is gonna, and I've been thinking about that because I saw it a few hours ago, earlier today. This is gonna like be my complaint about all TV shows. It feels like it was boring. Like nothing happened. It's an hour. It's an hour. This is a third. Well, I guess technically a sixth of the runtime of the Dune movies
that we have so far.
Yeah, and they get nowhere.
Yeah.
But I know it's also a TV show that's going to be stretched out over 6 episodes. Because it's going to be, I think it was 6 episodes. Because it's going to end in December. But the end of December is going to be the last episode. I don't know if it's a miniseries or if it's just a short season. I'm not sure. But that's what I feel. That's like it's an hour of people walking around, and we get about 20, maybe 30 minutes of setup, and the rest is just filler. And it's not even like there's no action filler or anything. It's just dragging shit out.
It's introducing about 5 different main characters.
And that too.
Without actually introducing them.
Once again, it's a TV show, so you have to introduce 85,000 characters. So so you can drag it out for several seasons and several hours. But they introduce all these Bene Gesserit acolytes, which fill no purpose right now, but they're going to be characters later. It's just but why? It's so played out, making because it doesn't. I'm already ranting. Sorry, we'll get to that. So they introduce all those characters. They fill no purpose in this episode. So in this episode, judging it on its own, it's full of filler.
Yeah.
And and also has when you think of Dune, you think of people standing around saying cryptic dialogue, talking about dreams within dreams, and visions of a dark past, but also my future, and oh! But here we go to the club, we do some drugs, we get some sex. This is what? Obviously, that is still it's a thing that exists in the Dune world. The Dune world it's our world, but in the far, far off future. So of course, people like. Yeah, they don't watch TV, but they watch entertainment. They sit down and eat dinner. They scratch their ass. They go to the club. But that's not what Dune is about.
That's not what you put in the TV show.
Exactly.
That's what happens in between episodes where you don't have to see it.
Yeah. But here, the princess Ines, the princess to the emperor. She it's my last night before I have to go off to be a sister, a Bene Gesserit. So I'm gonna go to the club. Oh, and I'm gonna meet my fucking sword teacher guy there. So we're gonna go in this private room and have sex.
Who's an Atreides, by the way, right?
Yes.
Kieran Atreides.
Yes.
There's only 2 names I recognize.
It felt so out of place.
Yeah.
It's also because it's so far into the future, and because they now live in a world which is less technical. I mean, they still have like spaceships and stuff like that. We have colonized huge swaths of space, but at the same time, we don't have computers anymore. We don't really have. I mean, we have electronics, but that's about it.
Yeah.
We have unthinking machines. So this, I mean, and it's 10,000 years removed from our time. Like, do we still do stuff like that, or do we have, do we entertain ourselves in other ways? It felt too familiar.
Normal.
I think is the problem. Because
it also kind of felt off that she is the princess, and she can just go to a random club with her brother.
Yeah.
No security, no nothing?
Yeah. Like, she's the daughter of the emperor of the known universe.
Yeah.
No one's gonna, try to kidnap her or anything?
Kill her.
Yeah. Nah, she's fine.
Yeah. That was a little bit weird.
That was weird. And but it's to show that she's a free spirit, and she's not going to be tamed by the sisters. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And she's special. She's different because she's in the dreams. She's the prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really like anything about this, and kind of like the Penguin feels so wrong to say, because obviously it's very well made. Like, all the sets, they follow that art style of the Denis Villeneuve movies. It's very, very brutalist.
Bauhaus, brutalist.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple, minimalist stuff. Yeah.
Even though this takes place a lot on the Emperor planet, was it Salusa Secundus?
Something like that, yeah.
It's a bit more extravagant, but it's still that big architecture style. Yeah. So it all looks really good. The music isn't as good, but it's still pretty good.
No, yeah.
It's no Hans Zimmer, but still.
The banquet hall or whatever reminded me of something I think we see in one of the movies, in a dream sequence.
Maybe.
When he sees himself as ruler of whatever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that might be, yeah.
So it's obvious they've watched the movies.
Oh, yeah, obviously. And I mean, one of the producers is one of the guys who kept writing the books after Frank Herbert died. Brian J. something. Hold on. Prophecy. Because it was Frank...
Kevin J. Anderson?
Yes, sorry, yeah, Kevin J. Anderson. Because it was Kevin Anderson and Brian Herbert that kept writing the books after Frank Herbert died based on his, like, notes. Because
and they wrote the Sisterhood of Dune.
Exactly.
Which is the prequel.
Yeah. Because I think Frank Herbert wrote the first 6 books or something before he died, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. But he had plans for like 3 more or something like that, so they finished those. But then they kept writing. I think there's like 15 or 18 books or something like that now.
Yeah. Something like that. Too many, really.
Too many, yeah. And I was doing a little bit of like looking because I wanted to find out because they mentioned the prophecy. They actually mentioned it by name here. That what the sisters their ultimate plan is to like protect the universe from, what's it called, Tiran Arfel?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, is that just a made-up, like, doomsday thing for this show, or is that actually in the
universe?
In the Dune-iverse? And it is and it isn't. Because it was like, this is a show that takes place 10,000 years before the movies. So it's a prequel. So it falls into the prequel problem that everything is going to just, well, we know what it's going to lead up to. It's going to lead up to, the one.
What happens in Dune?
Kwisatz Haderach, which is also, the prophecy that a man with the powers of the Bene Gesserit will rule the universe. That's the whole point. But then there's a problem with that in the later books. But in the so making up this new threat that the sisters can deal with, we know it's not going to like affect the future because we have seen the future. It's a prequel problem. So the Tiran Arfel or whatever it's called is kind of mentioned once in the end of the 4th book when Paul Atreides' son, Leto Atreides, is on his deathbed. He mentions that he has seen, because then he mentions like that we don't have to worry about because I think the machines. I haven't read that far. I haven't read the first 2 books.
Jesus Christ.
He mentions that there will be, he has seen that the Arfel or Alfel or whatever it's called cannot happen anymore. And that's it, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even understand what the big prophecy was supposed to be here.
No, they don't explain. What it means, basically, is like tyrant fog. Because that's the thing. They've borrowed its actual Hebrew.
Okay.
The Tiran Arfel or something. It sort of means tyrant fog. So that, like, a tyrannical character will rise up and spread, darkness over the universe. That's basically
That's basically it.
Yeah, that's the point of the prophecy. And that's what they have to avoid or whatever.
And that's why they decide to breed their chosen leaders, basically.
Yeah, and eventually
with the archive that the first Reverend Mother started, whatever her name was.
Yeah, exactly.
Mother Superior Raquella.
Raquella, right, yeah. But the thing is then, so that is their goal now, but in the Dune books, at least the first book, they they kind of sell it as that their big plan is to create the Kwisatz Haderach, which is, a man with the powers of a Bene Gesserit, because that will be like the ultimate being.
The one thing that this as a prequel has that is good is that it's so far from the main plot, from the actual movies. It's 10,000 years. A lot can change in between that. So I'm
okay, I guess. Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of go with they might not be connected because whatever this prophecy is gonna either be fulfilled or stopped, and then a new prophecy will arise in 10,000 years ish. So where the Kwisatz Haderach is the thing instead.
So it's gonna end with them like we defeated the tyrant, but now we need this to never happen again by creating the ultimate being, and he shall come in the form of an Atreides. So it's like maybe. Okay, so that's the movies. Okay,
maybe.
So it's gonna lead up to the movie,
or it's just not at all. Like they don't talk about the Kwisatz Haderach at all. They just go, this is the thing, and then we finished, and then the show's over.
Yeah. Sure.
Though I am curious because we spoil things, right? We don't have a...
I don't care. We don't have much to spoil. It's one episode where nothing really
Travis Flimmel's character, Desmond Hart.
Yes.
The sole survivor of the giant sandworm attack.
Yeah.
The man who should not have survived. We see as the Emperor watch video footage of that somehow.
Yeah, which in a classic TV show, it just magically appears in his room. So who put it there?
Yeah. But they talk about it as if it's a planned event. Because Desmond Hart kind of accuses the Emperor of the attack was planned by your allies.
Yeah, it wasn't Fremen. It was
yeah.
Okay, no, we're fine. I think. No, I forgot I had my browser up, so maybe we haven't been showing up on screen because I was covering.
It might have been the browser instead.
We'll see.
Oh well. Shall I continue?
Yeah. Go on. Yeah, no, we're fine.
So we have that whole. I'm assuming that's why there's video of it. Someone sent out a drone of some sort to oversee the attack to make sure it happened and everyone died. Which is why I'm assuming he offered Desmond a place in the palace or vacation and just agreed to the place in the palace to keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
But we also get to see that Desmond has some sort of power.
Yeah, and he mentions...
Similar to the Bene Gesserits.
Because he mentions that he got, because, religion isn't really a thing anymore. They've kind of, since they created... I don't know the whole thing, but I know that religion isn't really a thing.
No.
That's like the kooky superstition of peasants, basically.
Yeah.
That's why they say, the Fremen believe in the Muad'Dib.
Yeah.
No. Whatever they call him, I forget.
Isn't it Muad'Dib?
No, Muad'Dib is a little mouse that he takes the name by himself. For himself.
Whatever.
But we also know that their chosen one character that they believe in as a god, basically, is something that the Bene Gesserit has introduced to them.
Spread, yeah.
Yeah,
like Christianity.
yeah, exactly. But Desmond Hart starts talking about he actually has the gods bestowed him with this power after they allowed him to survive. So maybe there's something to that.
And he does somehow incinerate the little prince dude.
Yeah.
While somehow also affecting one of the Bene Gesserits?
Yeah.
Kasha.
Kesha, she's not involved.
I liked her though. That's a shame that she died. That was a character I liked.
Yeah, she was whose truthsayer was she?
She was the Emperor's.
She was the Emperor's truthsayer, yes.
Well, she was the Emperor's, and she was close to the princess as well, but she's technically obviously the Emperor's truthsayer.
Yes, right. Yeah, so there's some sort of connection there. That's not even, it's a bunch of setting up. It's an hour of setup.
That's the only issue I really have with this. It's that they set up a few plot lines that are all obviously connected. But they spend an hour introducing about 5-6 important people and their like different plot lines. But that's all they do. They just introduce them.
Yeah.
We don't get any like moving forward with any of them. It's literally just, okay, so we have Princess Inez, who is going to marry this prince and then train as a Bene Gesserit for a while. And then she gets to rule until he becomes of age. We have Reverend Mother Valia?
Valia, right.
Valia. Who is orchestrating everything.
Yeah, she's
basically.
She's the Mother Superior of the Bene Gesserit.
Right, Mother Superior, that's the word. We have Desmond Hart and his magical powers.
Yeah. Who speaks of rebellion.
Yeah.
Within the houses. Or the Landsrad, I think that's the same thing.
Yeah. And then we have a little bit of like small characters. Some other sisters and side plots, I guess. Who are just mentioned. Yeah, and that's it. That's all we get to know here. Oh, and we get to know the backstory of the machine war.
Yeah, and that, well, barely. And then the Emperor is a character.
Yeah. Oh, right, and his I guess his weakness is his plot, that he's just giving in to people. Specifically that rich dude whose son is marrying his daughter.
Yeah. The Richese family. Richese house. Yeah.
It would not exist if it wasn't for the Corino.
Mm. Yeah, it's like I said, it's
about it.
It's all
that's
set
all
up.
We know.
Yeah, that's all. It's all set up. And
it even confused me that we had like the first, I don't know, 25 minutes of the younger version of Valia, and I don't even know who the other ones were. Her sisters.
Tula.
Oh, yeah, Tula was one, I think.
You mean the other sisters?
Yeah, we have Dorothea for a while, who was the, I don't know, Reverend Mother for like a minute before Valia made her kill herself.
Yeah, like this.
And when Raquella dies, that's like before. It takes 30 years, and then we get to the
but that's
plot
just
point.
the intro. I'm fine with that, even though
it was a bit long.
I guess, yeah.
Everything, this entire episode could have been just like half the episode and then actually keep going with something.
That's the same thing we said about like every episode of season 2 House of the Dragon. Like it all feels so stretched out. And that's my my big complaint about most shows nowadays, because TV shows, they went from being like a lower form of entertainment. You had TV shows, whatever, in the in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even 2000s. They were movies, petulant little brother or sister, whatever. It's like, oh, you're a TV actor? Oof, yikes, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Call me when you're in the big
prestige.
leagues. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it slowly started to change when HBO started making more what we now call prestige television.
Yeah.
Which really, some would say Oz, but I'd say it really, really started with Sopranos. I think we've talked about this before, where Sopranos was like, shit, this feels like a movie. This feels like a Scorsese movie, but we get an hour every week. Whoa.
Yeah.
And then it moved from there, of course, and then it kind of peaked with Game of Thrones some years ago, where it's just like, and when movies started like going downhill. And movies kind of became like TV shows, the crappy TV shows, aka Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Just cheap looking, superhero trash for
dime a dozen kind of thing.
children. Yeah. While we were, we were talking about fate and gods, and there was intrigue and $100 million episodes on Game of Thrones on TV. Like, whoa, what the fuck? And other shows like Breaking Bad actually like feeling like mature, prestige entertainment.
Well produced, and
there's
some thought behind it,
and a bunch of other shows, of course.
Yeah,
but then it kind of shifted. Then they started making TV shows more and more expensive, and they had shorter and shorter seasons. To the point where in House of the Dragon, they literally cut one episode because like this is too expensive, guys. We can't.
Yeah, right.
And the way they wrote TV shows, was basically like, we have an idea for a movie. Can we turn it into a TV show?
Yeah.
So we can make people watch more.
Yeah.
So
that's the one part that is the issue for me.
Yeah. So that is
they write it as a movie.
That was the problem with House of the Dragon. Honestly, if we're gonna be super judgmental, first season as well, it is
Yes.
But it's so well written that you didn't notice it. But then as soon as the quality started waning in season 2, you're like, they're just dragging shit out. Nothing's happening here. And then of course the show we talked about before this, The Penguin, which was literally supposed to be a movie. Not literally, but I mean it's literally a movie. It is a limited series, 8 episodes. It's just basically one 8-hour long movie.
Yeah.
And now you have this, which is it's the same. It's just going to be a long movie, and it's just like, why not just make a movie then? Well, because
at least try and find something more to add to it then that doesn't make it so. It has to have more story to it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've talked about this as well. Each episode needs to exist on its own while telling a longer story.
There needs to be a monster of the week sense to it, even though you have in the background how that leads to the final episode of the season.
Yeah, or
even the final episode of the show if they're doing multiple seasons.
Yeah, because if you look at
my prime example for that is it's Supernatural.
Yeah, but that was. I mean, that was still in the time when you had like just 24 episodes and a season.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I'm thinking more like well, I was gonna say Sopranos, but that's also in the early season. It was like 20 episodes or something.
Yeah.
But there you had. First of all, there you didn't have an overarching plot. Because we have this story, this beginning, middle, and an end. We have that, but we need to drag it out for as many seasons as possible. No, it's about these characters, and we'll come up with the story for them as we write it.
Yes.
But every episode had a point. It was like, when that episode came to an end, it wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to see how they finish it in the next one. No. It was
like a mission that ended.
Okay, yeah.
It was finishing a chapter.
Yeah, exactly. And when the episode ended, it was like, oh, okay. You could almost like jump in, even a show where it all had, one continuous story. You could just watch a random episode and still enjoy it, even though you might not like, why are you talking about this guy who's not in the show? Oh, because they were talking with him in the last episode and, stuff like that.
They also have the recap, which explains the overarching show storyline and then also kind of like pointing out what happened in the last episode.
Yeah.
Which always helps.
Yeah. But it was not so plot driven.
No.
My other example that I brought up, Breaking Bad, same thing there.
Yeah.
It's not plot driven. Each season had a plot, more or less.
Yeah.
But it was character driven.
Yeah.
And each episode felt like, like when the first episode, when the pilot of, have you seen Breaking Bad?
I've seen all of season 1 at least.
Okay.
Maybe all of season 2, I don't remember.
Okay. Because when the first episode ends, that in and of itself could have been a movie.
Yeah.
Because it's him finding out he has cancer. He's like, shit, I need to I can't support my family if I have a year left of my life.
Yeah.
So I need to do something. Shit. Oh, I run into one of my old students. He's cooking meth. Oh, my brother-in-law, who's a DEA agent, just recently seized a big batch of meth, and he mentioned it's worth like 1 million on the streets. I'm a chemist. I know how to make meth. Yeah. And the end of the episode is him realizing that I don't think I'm cut out for this. And, he decide, decides to live his life instead. But of course it continues. But that's basically how the first episode ends. It's like, I'm done. They drag it out for another 2 episodes where they have to kind of clean up the mess of the end of the first episode. But it's basically like, no, I am not a drug dealer. And it ends.
Yeah.
You can't say that about this. Because what was the plot of this episode?
Nothing. The wedding, I suppose, but it was very...
That's like 3 minutes.
Vague. Yeah.
Yeah, the plot is a young Bene Gesserit witch finds out about a prophecy, about some sort of uprising, and she has to make sure that the Bene Gesserit control the flow of all the houses so that they can control all the important people in the world. And their plan will stretch hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years into the future. And then a guy, a soldier who has been on Arrakis, mentions that there is stirrings of rebellion within the great houses against you, Emperor. I should have died in that attack, but I survived because the gods granted me powers.
You know what?
And then he kills the child in the end
for no apparent reason.
No, the Emperor does hint, like, if I could be rid of this whole wedding thing,
Oh right,
that would be,
when he talks to him.
Yeah, but he still needs to reach his army or fleet of ships he was gonna get.
Yeah.
So technically, his daughter did marry the little kid, but the little kid died of natural causes.
Mysterious causes, yeah.
The wedding still happened, so they're gonna... I promise you, in the next episode, they're gonna say, well, you still promised me your fleet of ships, Duke.
Yeah, the Emperor's gonna be like, I withheld my part of the deal.
Yeah, I can't help that your kid burned from the inside. I didn't do it.
How is that my problem?
Yeah. So, but like, what was the plot in this? This is just it's just the beginning of a plot.
You know what this series could have been? It could have been the collection of the archive instead of the DNA archive that Reverend Mother, Superior Mother Raquella did. Because that could have been like every episode or 2 episodes could have been one Bene Gesserit collecting DNA from a big house.
Yeah, but that's
not interesting enough.
Yeah, and that's not how they write TV nowadays.
No,
it was the same thing with I didn't even watch that. I watched the first couple of episodes of Star Trek Picard. Like, it was this, the spin-off which is just about Picard.
Yeah.
It was basically a movie they dragged out for 10 hours, both first and second season. So it was like 2 movies. It wasn't until the 3rd season, because people were complaining so much in especially the 2nd season, that they kind of went back to the Adventure of the Weeks format. They had a running like thread throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, sure.
But each episode had more of this is the mission this time.
Yeah.
And people...
It's like, sidetrack, we're going on this mission today, and then, yay, we'll solve that later.
Yeah. And people, basically loved the 3rd season. It's like, this is what Star Trek's supposed to be.
You know what we can liken it to? Video games. There's a big overarching plot.
Yeah.
But every time you start the game, you end up doing some sort of side plot that takes up most of your gaming time for that session, and you maybe do a little bit of moving forward in the main plot.
Yeah.
If only maybe leveling up or getting better armor.
Exactly, just side questing, which
Yeah.
I recently replayed Mass Effect 1. I finished it today.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. And it took me like 25 hours, 26 hours or something. And yeah, most of that was just me spending time doing side quests, because I was trying to actually 100% it and get all the trophies for once.
Oh God.
I still missed one. But
damn it.
Yeah, and it's not one you can just like, well, I'll just start it up and use stasis one more time. No, I actually have to, because it has to do with collecting all the codex entries.
Oh God.
And I missed literally the first one.
How? That's not one you can get back to, is it?
No, it's not. So if you start a new career, even if it's a new game plus, that resets the codex entries.
Yeah.
But all the ones you need for that trophy, you can get within like the first 3 hours. So I'm gonna sit down and do that someday. Because you only need all the council alien races codexes, and you get all those pretty quickly. All the other codexes are not necessary for the trophy, and those I got though. So
exactly.
Anyway, yeah. But the thing is, that is a video game is a different storytelling format, a storytelling medium.
Sure.
Where you are involved, like you are part of the story.
Yes,
so even if you're not doing the whole saving the galaxy quest, you're still chasing down biotic rebels. Yeah. And it's not as well written as the rest of the story, but it's still interesting. And you're looking up clues, and you're trying to help Admiral Kahoku track down the Cerberus on different planets.
Yeah,
you're doing things, and you are involved. You're not just sitting there. You're actually actively involved. Watching. That's why I'm scared, because they're talking about doing a Mass Effect TV show on Amazon Prime. And it's missing the point. Like, some things shouldn't be a movie or a TV show.
Something does not have to. Some things do not have to end up on the screen somehow.
And
they're already an adaptation, leave it be. And whether it's a book or a TV game, just leave it.
And they're gonna drag it out. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
like this. Even though, if you streamline the main plot of Mass Effect, that is like 3 hours, 4 hours tops. And you could easily cut that down to 2 hours and make a movie out of it.
They could also, if they're diligent, they could also add all of the big side quests that we have.
Yeah, of course. And, that's how you make a TV show out of it. You add a bunch of lore and other characters, instead of side quests, you have side characters doing the side quest, so to speak. And that's how you drag it out from 2.5 hours to 10 hours.
Yeah. And making it interesting at the same time.
That's the thing.
If you try hard enough.
That's the thing. And then it's going to become this. And that's ultimately what I'm getting at. Because every show now, I don't watch every big show that comes out. No. Because I don't like the format of TV shows. I never have. I like the sitcom format. The half hour, each episode is a story. Or like we said, even like older TV shows like X-Files. Each episode is a story with a beginning, middle, and end. I like that. Then you can have an overarching plot, but you need to have a beginning, middle, and end for each episode. More or less.
Sure.
Because every show now, first of all, what is it? What makes this, other than all the names and the look, what is it that makes this a Dune show? Well, I guess that's a little unfair, because what really makes the Dune movies?
Yeah, it is the names and the places and the looks of it. That is what makes it Dune.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. It's hard with that one, but I asked the same thing when we talked about Star Wars this summer. When we talked about even some of the better newer stuff like The Mandalorian. Other than, that you have Jedis and Mandalorians are mentioned in Star Wars, what made that show Star Wars? Like, it didn't have the look of Star Wars. Like
no.
You had the ships and everything, but the look was different. The cinematography, the direction was different.
Yes.
The music was different. It wasn't a swashbuckling adventure. With the young hero and the wizard and the evil emperor. It was like a almost like a Western, kind of Western influence, like crime thriller drama thing. It's like, what is actually Star Wars about that?
No, if you just changed some of the outfits basically and some of the names, it could have been any other space adventure.
Yeah, it could have just been bounty hunter, spaceman guy.
Yeah.
Eh.
Bounty hunters in space.
Yeah, I got a little bit of that here too, because yes, a lot of Dune is the names and everything, but like I mentioned in the beginning, when I think of Dune, I don't think I don't think of people sitting in rooms plotting. No, there's a lot of that in Dune too.
There's a lot of that, yeah.
I guess I was wrong there. This is kind of like Dune, but I didn't get the feeling.
It's you can tell that the scale is somehow smaller. But I think a lot of that has to do with that we're not having the same. First of all, the music does a lot for the new Dune movie specifically, and we don't have that in this. It ruins the mood, the vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
The rooms don't feel as big, which is also just diminishing for this.
But even on a more like ethereal level, it's this. The main character here, which I don't even know who the main character is. That's also the thing I don't like about modern TV. Who is the main character? Is it Valia?
Valia
is it Ines?
Is the main character. No, Valia is the main character.
The main character for me, in Dune, for me, should be someone who's like this tortured hero who has the fate of the world on his shoulders, and he kind of has to do the thing he doesn't want to do, especially in the first book.
Might be Princess Ines though.
And the one thing I mentioned, a lot of staring into the desert, like going, why? That stuff.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that. It's all just people walking around talking like this.
Yeah.
We have to introduce more characters now, and well, there's a lot of plot to go through, so let's just talk. There's no that feeling, especially you had in the second movie.
I'm gonna give this the benefit of the doubt.
The Bene Gesserit
just like I did
with
just like I did with House of the Dragon.
Okay.
Because I still enjoyed House of the Dragon, even season 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than a lot of the shows
terrible,
we watched. We did finish that one.
We did.
If we put it that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like you. I'm not a big fan of TV shows unless it's dumb enough to just be background noise. This one is not dumb enough to be background noise. You do have to focus, which is
pay attention.
Not my favorite thing sometimes. But I do like this. I like where this is hopefully going, because I find the universe of Dune interesting enough to want a little bit more than what we have in the movies. The Bene Gesserit are very interesting in their whole cult, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The development of the power of the Bene Gesserit, the voice, seems to have been introduced with Valia.
Yeah.
Properly, at least. However, I'm really upset that we didn't get to see more of that how she discovered that.
I'm sure they'll get into it.
Yeah, I hope so, because that's one of the more interesting parts of the Dune universe, the Duniverse, like you called it.
Yeah.
And also, it helps that it looks really good, and it's not just comparing it to the Penguin, because the Penguin also looked good, but it doesn't look good in that sense. It doesn't have this.
No, it was supposed to look like the real world. This looks like a super cool
I don't
sci-fi
like real world.
Yeah.
Yes, I want sci-fi. I want fantasy. Because I love that shit.
Sure.
So this hits right when it comes to that. Unless, I mean, who knows? If the story never goes anywhere, then it's gonna be annoying to try and watch it.
And I've become, since we started doing the TV cast, I've been watching a lot more TV shows or streaming shows than I did before that.
Yeah.
And I've just quickly found that pattern of, everything is just set up, drag it out for 8 hours, and then finish it in the 10th hour. So
exactly.
I immediately got like bad vibes from the fact that nothing happened in this episode. And I'm like, oh no. And then it ends with the little kid dying, and I was like, oh no. And the end on that, like, you're like, oh my god, how did Kosh actually start burning as well? How did he do that? What was the powers? Are there actually gods? All these questions, like, well, I guess I have to watch the next episode now. Like, fuck you! No! Tell me! You're
To be fair,
dragging
we've
me
said
along.
that before.
TV shows, it's like being friend-zoned. I hate it.
You need some sort of cliffhanger, at least. A little bit of a cliffhanger. But we also need some sort of closure within the episode.
Yeah, that we didn't have.
That's the closure we didn't get.
No closure at all.
No.
It was.
I don't know if the wedding counted as a closure, but to me it wasn't built up enough to be an actual. It would have been better if the wedding happened in the next episode, actually.
Yeah.
And we could have spent more time in like learning why and how Princess Ines felt about this, because we know that her mother, Empress Natalia, is not a fan of this marriage.
No, I mean the Emperor isn't really either.
No, but Princess Ines is like, no, well, it's fine. I'd have him younger if I could, because I get to rule until he comes of age.
Yeah, which was also
that whole develop that. What does she want to do with that time that she will have as a ruler?
Yeah.
Does she have plans?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to watch.
They could have talked about that. Yeah, but that could have been before the wedding. That could have been part of the conversation with her mother.
Yeah.
Or part of the conversation with her little lover boy, swordsman dude.
Yeah,
Atreides. Like they could have fleshed that out and made the upcoming wedding more of a. You need to watch the next episode to see if she actually goes through with it, or if someone stops it. Instead, they rushed that part and just ended up, I don't know, going nowhere.
Yeah.
They stabbed the little machine lizard, but it didn't die, and then the kid who had it burned up. So is the machine lizard an issue? I am still curious. I'm intrigued enough to want to continue watch it.
Okay.
But I agree with you to a certain point where it's, they need to find a better way of structuring TV shows. The first episode could have had only one main character. We didn't even have to get to know anyone else, really. Exactly. It could have been just Valia, and even if she's speaking to people, we get introduced to them that way. We don't need to know what their plot is yet.
The plot of the first episode, you mean obviously have other characters, but you should have one main character, like you said, yeah. That was Valia. And what this episode would have been about was, after the introduction, 30 years earlier, it starts up, and her plot is now like, okay, so I have to make sure that the Bene Gesserit control the flow of everything basically in the universe.
Yeah.
By genetic engineering and by making sure that the right people are on the right place. And what is then the best place to not just to have Bene Gesserits with all the leaders of all the houses, but actually have a Bene Gesserit be the leader of the known universe. So my goal right now should be to put a Bene Gesserit on the throne of the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like, she should have figured that out in this episode.
Yeah, and maybe started talking to the Emperor about training his daughter or something.
Yeah, and
but not actually beginning it. Not actually.
No, yeah, exactly. Like, because it almost should have ended with her on the throne.
Yeah,
Ines on the throne is like. But then, that's maybe too much for just an hour to like have her first train as a Bene Gesserit, then go and sit on the throne.
But it could have ended with her ending up at the school that the Emperor and everyone agreed with her training with the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah,
she didn't. And then the next few episodes could be more of the training and the plotting around it, and making sure there's still a truth sayer within the Emperor's court.
Or
with then throwing in in that episode you start throwing in this Desmond character and what's his deal, and then in the next episode you start throwing in someone else and like, oh, but wait, they have something to do. That's when the wedding could have happened, and the prince and his father and their power over the Emperor could have come in.
Yeah.
Or if you want to swap it, you know what I mean? Like you start an episode with one main character and one main goal, and then in the next episode you continue on that goal a little bit. But something else take precedence. Takes the main plot for the next episode.
Yeah.
And that's where you introduce a new character and you start there, but they still have to, exist within the same
Yeah, and that kind of starts a conflict. Like, this puts a hindrance on my plot to put a Bene Gesserit on the throne. Damn it, we need one. We need. Like we said, it's too much plot. But honestly, what is the main plot?
There is no main plot.
Because there's so many B plots. Yeah.
Yes.
We need one main plot. We need. Walter White needs to cook meth to make money for his family.
Yes.
Valia needs to train the Emperor's daughter to be a Bene Gesserit so we can put a Bene Gesserit sister on the throne of the known universe.
Yes.
That needs to be the plot.
That's the main plot.
But here,
then you can start adding things in the next episode, and then the next episode, and the next episode.
Yeah.
Little by little. Not introduce everything at once.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only issue.
Okay.
They introduce everything at once.
Yes, smart. Because I was trying to fit too much into one episode, but yeah, if you just do one plot at a time, yeah, you're right. That's very smart.
And they'll continue on side by side eventually, and a little bit in the background. One plot per episode will have the main character.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that Valia's story is over after the first episode. It just means that her story will be impacted by one that will take a bigger space in the next episode for us.
Yeah, like the first episode, she actually it's her actually going to the Emperor saying like, so we because they're like, oh, we need to have a sister on the throne. It's like, how do we do that? Well, the
there's a daughter in the Corino household.
Exactly. So all we have to do is convince the Emperor that his daughter is special and we need to harness her power.
Yeah, and it would have been that conversation and it would be Valia introducing you to the Emperor, and then the Emperor and the Empress having bedside conversations about it in private.
Yeah, and
then introducing you to the princess as an idea, and her maybe going, no, I don't want this, or yes, that sounds very interesting, and building on it with more characters, of course, a little bit.
At first,
but all of it's feeding back into Valia and what she does with it.
At first, the princess is reluctant, like, no, because obviously she's a free spirit. She goes clubbing,
Yeah.
She goes back
Could
to
even
the club.
throw that scene in there if you want.
Yeah, exactly. And like Ines, no, don't leave in the middle of our conversation. Fuck you, Dad. And,
I'm going partying.
Yeah, exactly. But then she comes back. It's like she comes back from the club. And
maybe she had a heartful conversation with her brother there.
No. She comes back and she's kind of like, oh, I'm so happy. But then she breaks down. It's like, oh my, they're taking my life away from me. But then, because she has a special bond with the Emperor's truthsayer, Kasha, she says like, I know it's a life of solitude, and you feel like you don't have control since you're always like learning from whatever, blah blah blah, like you're a slave almost. But there's also immense power in being a Bene Gesserit.
Yes.
And with that power, you can do so much more than if you're just a woman or something.
Yeah, they can introduce the whole, how they have Bene Gesserits become wives of powerful households. They can introduce that plot line going like that's...
Yeah, they're wives or concubines, but they're literally placed there so that they can control the dukes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole point.
She tells spills the secret.
Yeah,
kind of goes, there's a plan in motion here, and we need women.
Yeah,
power.
They could even if they wanna introduce some Dune speak, they can even say there are plans. The Bene Gesserit has plans within plans.
Yeah, there you go.
And she's
all
like,
of a sudden,
and then she's like, the breakfast morning after, like, Father, I think I want to join the Bene Gesserit. He's like, marvelous. And then Valia, she's there still. She's there for the weekend.
Of course.
She's like, oh, perfect. Yeah,
in the
exactly.
background, yeah.
My plan is working.
And that could be
that's
the end of the
episode. Yeah, it ends with them leaving for
not even that. It's enough with her going, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
yes, but then the next he can even mention it like, oh, but we've already made plans for you to marry this dude. That's the next episode then.
Yeah.
The plot between the Emperor and the Mr. whatever his name was that gave him the ships. Yeah. And then, but unfortunately, we've promised you a way to him, so you need to marry him first.
Yeah.
Then you can go with the Bene Gesserit. And then we have the whole wedding day, and the setting up of that, and the discussion between the mother and the princess.
Yeah.
See how you can do it. And honestly, it's not like we made it worse with our discussion here. Like,
we didn't change much.
no,
We just sped it up a little bit. We removed the Desmond Hart plot and
Paused
the
them
rebellion
for
plot.
later.
Yeah, exactly. That's introduced
still
in the
gonna
next
come up.
episode. Yeah,
It's in the 3rd episode or something. Like,
because he shows up for the wedding. It's about, Desmond Hart, I thought you were dead. No, I survived.
dun, dun, dun,
with the
and
power,
he's the 3rd episode.
with the power of the gods. And of course, I couldn't miss the wedding. And then he's like, Emperor, I need to talk to you. There are stirrings within the houses.
Yeah.
And then you introduce the
And
second
the 3rd
plot.
episode is
But
still
then
when the child dies or whatever.
The plot needs to, because we don't know that yet, but the plot of putting Bene Gesserit on the throne and the plot of the rebellion within the houses, they need to connect. All the threads, they can be like this, but they have to connect in the end. I don't know how that's going to happen.
The last 2 episodes, they'll connect somehow. Unfortunately, since we don't have facit i hand,
the blueprint.
we don't have all of it yet. We don't know what's happening exactly. We can't perfectly intertwine them. But I'm like, it's the rebellion is gonna be a threat to putting the princess on the throne, probably, and that's how they'll connect.
Sure.
Like,
Right. Because of course they want someone else on the throne than the Corino.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
True. Okay.
Because that's what a rebellion usually is.
but then that's the rebellion. But then there's also the plot of, wait, does gods actually exist, and that's how Desmond got his firepower?
Yeah, we need to know more about that before we can try and
plot.
weave that in. Yeah, that's like episode 4 to me. And
but then
in
at
my
the
mind,
end of
we
10
don't have
episodes, we haven't reached an end to any of the plots.
Yes, we have.
Okay,
because after like 4 episodes or 5 tops, you stop introducing new plots and just keep building on the ones you have. But you alternate which one is taking main character in that episode.
I'm guessing in this version of our Dune prophecy, those 3 or 4 extra Bene Gesserit acolytes they're not in it.
No.
Because what's the point?
They're just side characters who like maybe get some info or something.
Yeah,
we don't have to see it.
Side
they just
characters.
Yeah, they just show up and give the people, our main characters, conversations, information.
They're Inez's friends, but they're there to like die. Not die, but you know what I mean.
But like, yeah. We don't have to see what they do.
Exactly.
They just show up whenever we see what Inez is doing or Valia is doing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
The whole having, I don't even know who it was. I think it was it Sister Leela? That one of the other sisters called like Doe Eyes. Them lying in bed, and they've talked about that one of the, was it Sister Jen? I don't fucking know. One of the sisters lied about where she came from, and the younger one told her like, yeah, but they don't even know where my parents are. A lot of us here, like, what was that? Why do we care? There's no reason to introduce that they are characters, really. They should just be names.
That's where
even just faces.
That's where my cynical red-pilled brain starts working. Because I get the feeling that they're kind of, working in some sort of political bend to it. Because it's all women. They're basically nuns, and a lot of them are probably there against their will. So it's some sort of,
is it going to be rebellion within the Bene Gesserit?
I don't know, but it's
connected to the rebellion against
it also was.
Empire?
This is once again. This is my MRA brain working. I'm sorry to anyone listening, that a lot of them were unconventional looking.
Yeah,
that was something I immediately noticed. Like the only conventionally beautiful of all the Bene Gesserit or Bene Gesserit to be was the princess.
Yeah,
the other
she's
ones
the
were
only
like,
one who's conventionally pretty. But still, though,
forehead was a little big, eyes were a little.
I was about to say, to be a little bit critical there, she has a long nose and a big forehead.
Hey, she was still.
She's still the prettiest one out of them all. If we go that route.
Let me tell you, I didn't notice. Some like, just, is this going to be some sort of like, women are strong thing? And like,
of course it is. That's the whole point of the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, but that's the thing. they already are that. They don't have to add this extra like, oh, no. I'm the angry one, so I'm really strong. And I don't know. This once again.
We didn't need to see the training montages to realize that they were strong.
I've only read the first book, so I don't know all the lore and all the backstory, but them training to fight as Bene Gesserits, is that a thing?
I mean, we do know that the mother in Dune is a pretty good fighter. Pretty good. Not great.
She is?
Yeah, she can hold her own. Except for that she realizes that she's pregnant and then she can't fight anymore.
Right, no, okay, maybe they do train, but
so they train some, obviously.
It felt
but
very,
they're not trained to be physical warriors.
It felt.
So it's an unnecessary scene to include.
Yes, it felt very.
The whole little training montage at all with the Bene Gesserits. These are criminals and crooks, and you have to suss out them, basically. I don't even remember what they said. Like, what was the point of that? What did that have to do with Valia or the princess? Because those two are the only ones we should care about. Honestly, the only 3 people that should have anything to do with anything plot-wise is Valia, Princess Ines, and Desmond Hart.
And the Emperor.
No, but he's part of Princess Ines's line and Valia's line. He doesn't have his own.
Okay.
He's just a big character in all 3 of them, really.
Sure.
He's not his own main character.
Sure.
There's only 3 main characters, and this shouldn't be too many in a TV show.
No.
You should have tops 3.
Yeah.
Maybe 4, but that depends on how long the season is.
Going back to Star Trek, you really had 3 main characters. You had Kirk, Spock, and the Doctor, Bones. Then you had obviously other main characters.
Big characters.
You know, Uhura, Chekhov, Zulu. They're there in basically every episode, but they're not part of the plot.
It's like A-listers, B-listers, C-listers, D-listers, you know?
Main characters and supporting characters.
Yeah, and
here
it feels like different levels of supporting characters.
Of course. Here it feels like every character is a main character.
Yeah, a little bit. Because they all get their own moment. They're not just in frame to be in frame with the main character. No, exactly. They all get their own close-up.
Yeah.
Same with Supernatural. I mean, that show went for like 9 seasons, 24 episodes per season. There's only 2 main characters.
Yeah.
But then you have reoccurring characters that have a bigger plot and bigger part of the plot. In certain episodes, they are the main character because it's about their family or something. And I forgot the character's name. Sam and Dean are just there to help them for that episode.
Yeah.
But in the end of it, you follow Sam and Dean when they leave.
It's their story, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You get into the Impala and you drive off with them. You don't stay with this random family.
And that is, to wrap it up, I guess we managed to drag it out to an hour, actually. That is the problem with this, and the problem with writing in modern TV.
Yes.
That it's like they're trying to make a movie in a TV show format, but doesn't work.
I have a challenge for you.
Okay.
And it's only because I know you have extra time on your hand nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
I recently was let go, so
yes,
a couple of weeks ago.
Not by any fault of yours.
No, it was the
company that just let go everyone.
Yeah, and they let like 50% of the people go. Anyway.
Use whatever media you want and like have as a basis if you need it, or if you have an original plot in head, go for that. Write down a 10-episode storyline.
Oh my god.
With the main plot, introducing more characters. It has to be like, in total, you need to have like 10 characters, but only
10 characters.
Top. Side characters included.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You can't just do a show and there's like 2 people in it. No. You need to have at least 10 other people joining.
Sure.
But you have to have 2 or 3 main characters.
And do I need to write like dialogue, or is it just like outlines for each episode?
Start with outlines.
A plot, so to speak, an overarching plot.
Yes, and then how you would introduce the other main characters and how they get into it in which episode and stuff like that. Just like we did now.
And what is the time frame? Because that could take a long time.
I don't know, a month.
Yeah, like
to have an outline.
The end of the year.
Yeah.
Which, it's basically
year.
a month and a half, yeah.
Yeah, to have an outline at least. I mean, it doesn't have to be finished. It doesn't have to be something we can sell. I just to show that it's not that difficult to like actually get a decent plot going.
With a good structure.
Yeah, with a good structure.
I would have to pick something, a pre-existing.
Yeah, that's fine.
In that case, because I couldn't make.
That's what I'm saying. That's fine. Pick a subject. Pick an already existing series. Fuck it. Use this one if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
That's my challenge for you.
I'll take that on.
I don't have time for it, but you do.
I do have a lot of time, yeah.
Hell, you can do it about Mass Effect if you want to,
That's probably what it's going to be now since I've been playing it and I've been listening to people talk about the TV show. Yeah. Should it be? But then it's just going to be the first season is the first game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously.
Good. I can do that. I can do it pretty quickly. Okay.
And I'm going to say that you have to post it on Patreon by the end of the year.
The whole thing?
So if
like a document.
Yeah, like a document.
Okay, but we're gonna talk about it in the free episodes.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it, but you have to post it so our patrons can actually read it if they want.
Sure. Because that was gonna be my next thing. Because we always do this in the end of TV Cast. Are we gonna watch the next episode of this?
I am.
You are, okay. And I say then, so I can kind of keep people updated on this work then. We can talk about my Mass Effect show. How I would do the Mass Effect show. We can talk about that while we talk about Dune Prophecy.
See how if Dune Prophecy gets somewhere, if it's just the first episode that's fucked up, or if they've screwed us over as they seem to be doing in general.
Yeah. So maybe towards the end, you watch the show and I just listen to you explain it, and then I talk about my show.
Possibly.
But I'll watch the next episode, yes.
Yes.
So we'll be back in about a week. This came out on...
I think today or yesterday.
Sunday, so...
Oh, Sunday.
We will try to
I
have...
totally missed that.
Yeah, I looked up, it's the 17th. So we will try to have the next episode, because we were kind of late on this, because I didn't know it was out. We will try to have that up by next Monday.
Yeah, or something, yeah.
Yeah. Or something, yeah. We don't really.
We have other things to record as well, so.
Yeah, and there's Christmas and stuff, so.
Yes.
And you actually have a job, so.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anywho, that's it for today.
Thank you so much for listening. Leave your comments. If you don't want me to do Mass Effect, leave a comment. If you really want me to actually do something else, become a Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/don'tmakeascene, because you can literally tell us what to watch, and I guess in this you can
have an impact on this as well. Yeah,
tell me what I should write about. Yeah, so patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Other than that, subscribe, comment here on YouTube, and we'll see you next week then. But until then, have a good one. Bye.